Hi YouTube, Mochismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. Welcome. I hope everyone is doing very well on this Memorial Day. And I want to salute and I want to pay honor and tribute to all the fallen soldiers of the past, those who have made it home safely in the present, and those who are to go on in the future and to defend and protect our sovereign rights of liberty and safety of just being an American. Now, it got this way somehow to where our country has to be, as many other countries, has to be protected, and the rights of the country that were established. Now, another thing that has to be protected, you as an empath, chosen one, awakened, you have to protect you. And I'm going to speak, as I've already given tribute and honor to all of our veterans. I also want to remind you empaths and chosen ones, be aware of the bullshit with some narcissists who happen to be veterans. I've seen many of them. They are overtly entitled. They have an entitlement mentality. They have an egotistical mentality. They have a disgruntled, confrontational, aggressive, grouchy. And don't dumb it down to, oh, they went through the war, they did this, they've gone through so much. If this is a narcissist, it has little to do with the fact that they've been to war. And in most cases, these particular narcissists who happen to be veterans, they most often haven't seen any action. But they have a war story. They oversell the product. They oversell themselves. If she's a nurse, she's actually a CPA or a nurse's assistant. You see where I'm going with this? They always oversell the product. They jack the price of who they are up. So be mindful of that, guys. But those in general who are veterans, just give them a fair amount of tribute, fair amount of honor, respect, and dignity. Because within you, that is what is within you. So you can give off that. Don't over celebrate anybody though. Because after today, Memorial Day, holiday, those who are still alive in this world, who happen to be veterans, who happen to be narcissists, they will behave badly every day. They'll walk around with the hat on, with all the medallions and the medals on their hat, and looking for free stuff, free privilege, free passage, best parking spaces. Yeah, this needs to be spoken about, because guess what? In our society, in the Matrix, we are taught and programmed to look up to people of positions and influence, and thereby, because they're in a position of authority and they happen to be a narcissist, their persuasion and manipulation, it garners mass appeal and followings. So you being an awakened empath and chosen one, you're the last man out. You're the one that sees the bullshit. A lot of times you can't expose this to the common man, because what happens is you will be outed or put out or excommunicated because you know too much. You're the oddball. So what I would advise you guys to do as empaths and chosen ones that are awakened, let this be a memorial for you that your awakened state is a blessing from God. But God is giving you this insight with a grain of grace and a grain of discretion and a grain of wisdom. So use the wisdom. Don't show everything you know. Don't show all you know. I'm learning that. And so I've also noticed a lot of content creators, to get off of that tangent, I go in on nurses too. I go in on all of the people in the medical profession that happen to be narcissists specifically. No disrespect to the medical field, but I just do believe that it's an excessive obsessiveness of illness and the pervasive promotion and advertising of this pill, that pill. It's undeniable. I want to encourage you guys to go back to your organic way of life and living. Tune a lot of this crap out, because guess what? You can listen to so much of this and you're not even sick, and you become sick because your mind is manipulated to believe you need this simply because they said that this will help you with this or that. So what I was trying to get at is that I see a lot of content creators that are not here as much. Some of the ones, and I've mentioned this before, and there's good reasoning for it. They're not going anywhere. They have not gone anywhere. I myself have taken lots of time away from the camera. I've focused a lot on, again, me, as it pertains to who the hell am I? And this is a beautiful thing, because I'm realizing that who I truly am. I've been hesitant to be all I can be, and all that I am to be, and all that I'm supposed to be. I have truly not captured the essence of who I am because of the matrix we live in. We live by a certain set of rules and standards, do's and don'ts, laws and guidelines. So much so you're conscious of this, or subconsciously aware of this stuff, and it determines and dictates your day-to-day life. Now, after your post-awakening, you will go through, if you're anything like I am, and if you've experienced some of what I've experienced, and I want to believe you have, it's almost like a putting off of a weight. Like the analogy of King David before he became king, when he slew Goliath. He was given, and I want to say it was imposed upon him, because he had his confidence. He knew he had already slew bears and whatever, because he tended the sheep. He was a shepherd boy. He was a leader. So the thing with that is, the weights that were put on him to help him conquer Goliath were too heavy. It was imposed upon him shoes that didn't fit him. And this is what the matrix does. It imposes standards within you as a human being that God didn't intend to be imposed upon you. He said, seek me and my kingdom first, and all things shall be added. So we always are seeking after a degree. We're seeking after the best job, the best car, the nicest house, so we can compare ourselves to our neighbor. And the Bible said, be mindful of that. He said the reason why you don't have, and what I believe he meant is the reason why you don't have, whether it's a physical thing or it's a spiritual thing, the reason why you're lacking and you don't have the spiritual stability and strength and stamina is because you're comparing yourself by yourself. And when he said by yourself, that's meaning you're comparing yourself by your fellow man or woman. Your measuring tool or your measuring cup is the person around you who is in a level that seemingly is above yours. So that's what you're trying to ascertain. You're trying to climb that ladder to get there. And when you get there, you find out that it is lonely at the top. But it is serene at the bottom. Because I've always heard, the higher you climb, the farther you have to fall. So when you stay grounded and the closer you stay to the ground, even when you fall, you don't sustain You don't sustain the injuries that you would if you get high and mighty. And that's an analogy, but it works that way in life, I believe. You know, King Saul said before he became King Saul, when he was Paul, he said, I pray God, help me not to abound, but help me not to be abased. I don't want to get too high-minded, but I don't want to be too low, so to the point where I have to beg and borrow and steal. Don't let me get so high-minded and proud and prideful till I become self-reliant. Basically, he wanted to be even keel. And that's the balancing act that I think myself, I want to be able to sustain or at least maintain a consistent balance. And that's what I'm channeling in my life. I'm not saying I'm there, but I love the experience and I love the journey that it's affording me, because now I realize that a lot of the stuff that I thought was a big part of who I am, it was a lot of me being what I believe now was being what I was expected to be, or doing what was expected of me. And I wasn't really the guy that wanted to overachieve and overimpress. But again, the subconsciousness and my desires of that, looking back, now that I'm here, I can look back and say, wow, my motives were just as directed, and my energies were very much motivated by what the outside elements and the perception of that would be it other people. I was doing it because I felt like that was what was the thing to do. You're gonna look weird, you're gonna seem weird, sound weird, and appear weird, period. Once you're awakened, nothing will make sense to most people around you, and it shouldn't. But it should make sense to you when it starts to happening and you start observing this, because what you're going to understand undeniably at that point is that why this is so weird to most, if not all, the people you come in contact with, is because you are shedding you're shedding that outer skin, and the inner you is really coming out to the top. And it's something that is so foreign to a lot of people. You won't be confused about it. They will be the ones that are confused. It will make perfect sense to you because you're doing the inner work. You know that this is not who you were created to be. You know that this is not who you're comfortable being. You feel more comfortable being who you're discovering yourself to be now. And because you are becoming more and more authentic, you are what you call the diamond tester. So every time you get next to diamonds that are not cut, diamonds that are not pure, it will readily be an alarm that will go off. But the alarm will go off in them. You will be pretty much okay. I mean, it'll take you by surprise in many cases, because a lot of times the matrix mentality, we will be kind of like taken aback, like, wow, you know, I've been knowing this person 20 years. They are acting super weird. Don't take that personal. It's not that you're doing anything that is purposely offensive to them. It is, again, like I said, they're seeing something in you that is scaring the hell out of them. They're seeing a stoicness to you that is not doing cartwheels and jumping jacks for their antics. You're not the cheering squad that you once have been in the times past. It's almost like you're giving off an air of superiority. their illusion and their false self and their false confidence, their false bravado is being revealed. Because they're wondering why you can just be who you are, wherever you are. You don't blow their phones up. They get nervous. Yeah, man, I haven't seen you in a while. Girl, where you been? This is bothersome because they can't figure this out. And it's not something you can figure out. You must understand it for what it is. But that takes a process. It's a process of first becoming awakened and going through the rigorous process of confusion, and then things making sense once the clouds and the dust settle. And the mighty hand of God visits you and helps the nonsense make sense. So I wanted to speak on Memorial Day as it being a memorial for you. Last year this time, maybe you were asleep or you were awake. This is just another Memorial Day awakened, and this may be your first time listening to me. And if it is, this could be your Memorial Day. This could be the video that you have been waiting for all of your life to make sense out of this nonsense. You who are married, you who are in a relationship with a veteran who now you may realize is a narcissist, and they may be using their traumas of the war seemingly as to justify their behaviors. You're not responsible for someone to behave badly and you accept it. You can support and understand the things that people go through, but when it becomes so increasingly offensive and unbearable to you, and it impacts you directly, and it creates a health problem for you, and it becomes detrimental to your whole existence of life, you're not responsible for that person's welfare at the cost of your own. Because if you lose yourself trying to save somebody else, there's no rewards for that. That is a very unwise undertaking, and you will not be rewarded for it. Well, you might be rewarded for it, but your reward would be a curse of detriment that you can never undo. But today, if you understand that you could possibly be involved with an individual that has somehow served in the military, that is increasingly accusatory, increasingly offensive to you, but blaming it on a tour of duty, that is never okay. No more than it's okay for a person who's a cop to come home and blame his frustration, his anger, and his disrespect to his wife or husband for reasons I have had it tough tonight on the beat at work. It is never justifiable to abuse and use somebody else for a punching bag because you're going through something in life. They are there to support you and help you, but if you can't respect their support and you're abusing the very person who's trying to help you, no, don't be that fool. Don't be that crash dummy. And so I want to leave you guys with that. But all in all, I want you to honor those who have strived and worked hard and tirelessly to protect and serve. And we salute you all today, you veterans. You know, my hat's off to you and I salute you. That being said, bless.